I'm Janice Edwards. Coming up on Signature Silicon Valley, it's that time of year again. The San Jose Jazz Fest is upon us. Brendan Rawson joins us with a preview. And then remembering someone who had an incredible signature that he left on our Silicon Valley, Bill Kendricks. And the Children's Discovery Museum is celebrating 25 years. We'll talk about that with Marilee Jennings. That's all next. Join us. Welcome to Signature Silicon Valley. I'm Janice Edwards. Thank you so much for joining us. Every year, the streets of San Jose are filled with incredible sounds of San Jose Jazz Fest. If you haven't been, you have to go. If you weren't there last year, here's a little bit of what you missed. Music is medicine. Well, if music is medicine, you are about to feel really good. Because in just a few moments, we are going to hear from an amazing, amazing artist.
It's Sunday, you should be grateful we're outside and there's music. I want everybody to have a good time today. Come on. The world turns and the moon fades and the sun begins to shine like a flower.
Anteriormente, ahora sí es en serio, Gracias a los organizadores del Festival de San José por invitarnos a estar aquí en esta bonita ciudad y bonita ciudad de gente maravillosa que estoy viendo las caras a todos. Así que, Conjunto Chapotín y sus estrellas.
Brendan Rawson is the executive director. He's back with us. Glad to see you. And tell us about the 26th year, what we can look forward to.
Thank you, Janice. Very happy to be back. This
Yeah,
is a
glad
lot of
to
fun.
have you.
So 26 years, yes. We're in the throes right now of planning all of the details for it. But the big picture, I think it's 112 performances over the course of from Friday evening, 5 o'clock, till Sunday. We wrap up about 9 o'clock.
And we have the dates that we'll have on the screen, but give them just for everybody.
August 7 to 9.
Exactly, exactly. So first weekend of August, a great way to celebrate.
Yes,
that.
actually, it's one fun thing. Actually, technically, it's the second weekend.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But what's interesting for us this year is that the first Friday of the month falls on this second weekend. So actually, one of the things we're doing this year is this really fun collaboration with the South First Street Art Gallery crawl.
Yes.
So they shut down the street there of First from San Carlos down to William, and we'll be out there with 2 stages that are actually free to the general public. So
that's
if,
wonderful.
even if you're not attending the festival through the weekend, you come down and see some great music on Friday night.
That is a great collaboration.
Yeah.
So, and Friday night is dance night too. Who's going to be there then?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, main stage. It's always our Kaiser Permanente dance party kickoff, and so it actually starts off with a great Bay Area act called Con Brio, followed by J.C. Brooks and the Uptown Sound from Chicago, and then Tower of Power to close it out.
Oh, that's awesome with the horns. Okay, and Saturday highlights, a couple.
Yeah, Saturday, boy, so much music on Saturday. Some fun things that I'm looking forward to. One big project is really interesting. We got the United States State Department, actually, a grant funding to bring a big band, a 26-piece big band from Bahia, Brazil.
Really?
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty neat to see. It's a Letieres Leti and Orchestra Rumpelés. It's, I think, the third act on Saturday. And we're actually going to do a Brazilian sort of themed parade component to, some samba and stuff to kick off that performance.
A little of Carnival spirit,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's wonderful. You have so many wonderful acts, and every year you have to top yourself. Like you said, last year was incredible because it was a milestone.
Yeah.
And this year people have booked reservations early, and people, this is really a destination jazz fest.
It's becoming that way.
Yeah.
You know, it was really exciting. Last year, as we sort of went into that 25th anniversary, we made a real national push around advertising and sort of press, and think got, you know, New York Times, New York Post sort of coverage, downbeat. And that seems to have spilled forward this year with more folks that are to say, oh, we want to get to California, get to San Jose. I think one of the signature parts is that it's been the Latin jazz programming. You're having that in the sort of national understanding of jazz festivals, that if you're into Latin jazz, you got to get yourself to San Jose, sort of thing. So we're very fortunate. Actually, Castellano Family Foundation has been key in doing that programming. So we're excited.
Tell us a little bit more about the Castellano Family Foundation.
Well, they've been supporting us for 10 years now. Al and Carmen Castellano and the rest of the family. Their focus is around Latino arts, and their particular passionate fans around Latin jazz, which has been great. And they've been supporting us at the Latin jazz stage for a lot of years. And then Latin jazz is just becoming so important and a signature part of our festival that we decided to sort of fold it in, and it allowed us to put larger and more, like this year, Eddie Palmieri on the main stage. And a lot of that's thanks to the Castellanos.
Well, it's incredible, the sponsors. And we should mention also that the CEO of Create TV is usually performing there too, Suzanne St. John.
Oh, yeah,
Crane.
right.
So, so she and her band, so we can look for them,
Actually, we're working on, hopefully, Create TV will be able to be on site for capturing one of our stages this year. I think it's going to be the Big Easy stage.
Oh, okay.
And so you'll get to see after, see that.
Exactly, see Suzanne in action as well. Now, it's a great event, and one of the things that's wonderful too is the money that you raise also supports encouraging young people to get involved with music, to learn about jazz, and you have the summer camps. Tell me more about those, because I know that every year you invite kids, and this year it was bigger than before.
Yes, exactly. Yes, the festival basically serves as our largest fundraiser of the year. And so we did, this past year, our summer camp, we actually did 2 different summer camps, both of them 2 weeks long. Summer Jazz Camp, which is focused on middle school and high school age kids.
So what do they do at Summer Jazz Camp?
Oh boy, well, they're intensive days. They're really full days. They're 9 till 4 each day.
Wow, that's a long day.
And they do big bands. They also have sectionals for in different themes, which might be Latin sectional or straight ahead jazz, or they did a New Orleans sort of themed one. But the kids practice throughout the day with their different instructors by instrument. And then they kind of conclude each day with a jam session.
Wow.
And then, of course, it culminates at the end of camp with a big end of camp concert.
I had fun emceeing at the Kaiser Permanente stage last year, and those kids who played were incredible.
Oh, to kick it off,
yeah.
So we'll do that again.
Okay.
It was a fun part of camp, is that a little bit of a competition part. Which combo is going to get to be on the main stage at the festival to kick it off. So it's a great combo.
Yes.
They'll start off the Sunday. At the main stage.
This is very cool.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about people putting their signature on the Valley, and you're one of 11. And so, growing up here, going to Wilcox, did you foresee this as part of your future? What did you think you'd be doing when you were growing up in San Jose?
Oh boy. Well, I didn't see it in terms of actually in the arts. You know, that's I kind of came to that from the other direction. I'm not a musician myself. I don't know. I wish I could play an instrument, but I don't. But sort of came to it from more of a background is actually public policy, more economic development, and really in that world you started to see cultural issues and cultural vibrancy playing more and more of a role in how regions sort of define themselves and sort of compete on a regional basis. And so I got more of exposed to cultural policy issues and came into it from that perspective, and been really enjoying it.
Yes, and doing a great job and really expanding things. Well, it's great to have you here. Thank you for bringing us another year of music in the streets.
And you'll MC a stage for us this year?
Oh, if you twist my arm.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, I look forward to it. It's wonderful. And it's so cool to just spend time with the different people there. Last year seeing Lettucey was great. I hadn't seen her in so many years.
She'll be back.
She'll be back?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Terry Lynn Carrington on Saturday, and she'll be one of the guest vocalists.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So,
yeah. Well, great. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Here's how you can attend. Make sure to go. San Jose Jazz Fest. Details are on our screen. So many of us here were shocked and saddened by the sudden death of Bill Kendricks. He knew almost everyone in Silicon Valley, and I like to say he never met a stranger. He worked for the VTA for many years. He was a retired football player, Cincinnati Bengals, Oakland Raiders, but most of all, he was someone who always loved connecting people, liked laughing. I remember he liked teasing me about the fact that I was the first African-American class president of my high school, and every time he saw me, he'd bring that up, and we'd share a laugh about that. He was an amazing person. We miss him dearly, and he would join, or has joined us to talk about our friend, Bill Kendricks. He would thank you for being here today.
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Yes. How did you first meet Bill?
I first met Bill actually in a job interview. I was going for a job as director of a program called the San Jose Inner City Games. I had worked under another person assigned from the city, and I decided I'd take a shot at taking over the program. Fortunately, I also was offered another opportunity while I was still working in the city. So I was kind of at a crossroad whether I really wanted to do this or stay with the city. And it's funny because they were asking me in the interview, well, do you really want the job? And I'm saying, well, I'm not sure.
You were honest about that.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I didn't know at that point. And as it turned out, the city had gotten like $90 something million as a settlement from the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. So they wanted me to be the tobacco czar for the city. So I said, well, I think I'll stay with the city. So I think they might have been a little disappointed, but the guy they put in there did an excellent job. So they didn't lose anything.
Right.
But that was my first introduction to Bill.
So Bill was part of that committee and
Right,
asking.
Right.
Yeah.
He was on the board of directors.
Right. Yes, he enjoyed just civic responsibility with the 100 Black Men. When I first started working for NBC, he called me one day. I hadn't met him. He said,
Right.
welcome to Silicon Valley. I want to invite you to lunch. So he invited me to lunch with 7 other members of the 100
Right.
and then Mayor Ron Gonzalez. And it was really just, quite a ceremony. He was larger than life in so many ways. And it's hard to believe
Absolutely.
he's no longer with us.
Well, one thing about Bill is that if he was in the room, you knew he was there.
Yes.
I don't care how big the room was.
I know. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you consider what people will remember most about him or part of his legacy?
Well, Bill liked to make things happen. Okay. He was behind most things that you see going on in the community,
Yes.
which is amazing because
Right.
I believe he stretched himself a little too thin.
Yes. Yeah.
But Bill just liked to make things happen, and with the 100 Black Men, we were able to do some fantastic things, nationally as well as locally. We were able to give a lot away, over $500,000 in scholarships,
Yes.
and that's under his,
Right.
leadership.
I was very honored to be there at a lot of those
Right.
scholarship galas and
Right.
just to see in action the passion and dedication that he had.
The only thing is, unfortunately, with the downturn, came our downturn. So I mean,
Yeah.
we ended up disappointing a few folks, but we're building back now.
The 100 Black Men of Silicon Valley is
Right.
building back up,
Oh,
which is
absolutely.
great.
Absolutely.
And that's wonderful because you do such incredible work.
Right.
And I know that that'll be something that we like to think Bill will be smiling down from heaven to see.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to carry on the work. No
Yes.
question about it. In fact, a lot of people I've been talking to recently are thinking about coming back. A lot of people kind of stepped away. Some folks had been there since the organization started here in San Jose. I'm probably, I guess I would be one of the newer members because I've only been there for about 11 years.
Right.
But folks are back. The program, the organization is about 26 years old. And they had people who were there from the beginning and they kind of burn out.
Right.
So now they're talking about coming back and, bringing some new energy, some new vigor,
Exactly.
and getting some of the younger guys now.
The next generation of the 100.
Getting
in
them
there.
moving in the right direction.
Yes. Well, I know that as you continue to rebuild, there'll be a fitting tribute to Bill in that. And we're going to take a look now at some of the thoughts that were shared at his memorial service. I'm Janice Edwards, and we are on location at San Jose's Emmanuel Baptist Church, where William Bill Kendricks is being remembered today. When we talk about someone who put his signature on Silicon Valley, Bill's imprint will remain for years. He was known for his generosity, his philanthropy, his ability to bring people together, his booming laugh, his great hugs, the fact that he worked for the VTA, that he was a former NFL player, are part of what will be celebrated, but most of all, it's his heart that we will remember. Melody Mina is Bill's niece, and it was at her house that he passed away. She shared some poignant memories today, and we're honored to speak with you. Once again, we're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much for coming and for everyone's presence here. It's with mixed emotions, obviously, but it's very nice to finally meet everyone and to understand the other part of his life that kept him so busy and so full of joy. So thank you.
So you live in Georgia, and the evening before he passed, he had shared a meal with you. Are there any things that stick with you about that night that you can share?
Well, it was different, right? So he would come to visit us very often, whenever he could. He would probably come to Georgia at least once or twice a year, sometimes more than that. And I travel quite a bit for work, so I would always come here, and we would always get together for dinner or something. He would always want to see me, take me to the airport or do something. And so this time was a little bit different because he didn't look like his normal self, and he wasn't quite well, but he greeted us in the same way that he always did. My children ran to give him a big hug, and he laughed and chuckled, and we went to eat dinner, and he had a light dinner, and we watched the basketball game.
Supervisor Cortese, we heard you speak poignantly about Bill, but as we're remembering him now, if you could just share a little bit about what you think is most memorable about him.
Well, I think what's most memorable about Bill was his ability to make people feel welcome, and that's a real blessing. And you know, he was one who always had that energy to warm up the room, but also to really warm up your heart. You know, us elected officials have to go to a lot of events and do a lot of things, whether we're in a good mood or a bad mood. And I will tell you, Bill is one of those people that you just love to see because he would instantly put you in a good mood. Big man with a big heart, but he was never on the sidelines. Pastor Tony Williams said that here today. He was never one to be a spectator, to just watch. He was always on the field, and that goes back to his early days as an NFL football player. But he had that mentality in his public service work, and he was a public servant, a great public servant, and we all recognize him as that. And that's why you see jurisdictions from the state of California to the county board of supervisors to the city and the mayor adjourning meetings, recognizing him and memorializing him in our permanent government archives. So people will always know a little bit about his story, and those who want to learn more will have the opportunity to do that. It's the story of a great man.
With the celebration today, it was quite a tribute. Anything in particular that stands out for you?
Well, you know, I really love Bill, and I saw why Bill was so loved today because people came out who really cared about Bill. And the number of people in there really said who Bill was. So he's a love man, and I loved him too.
So as you remember Bill, what would you like for people to keep in mind, Congressman?
Well, I think there's one thing that's common that everybody has experienced, but for me, every time I see him, I get a great big old hug. But him being so tall, my face would be right in his chest, and that big old bear hug would always distort my glasses, and my glasses would never be the same. And I just know that being hugged by him, it just, you know, it was an honest, warm, safe hug between two men that understood what love meant. And I think that everybody has had that experience and would know what it is that I'm saying. And that's who he was on a daily basis.
Yes, Bill was one of a kind, and we truly miss him, and I'm so glad that so many were there to honor him.
Okay.
Yes. And thank you so much for being here to share memories.
Well, it's my pleasure.
And
my pleasure.
And I know if people want to know more about the 100, we're going to put your personal contact information on the screen
Very good.
so that you can reach out to Hewitt and reach out to the 100 in that way. So thank you again. For 25 years, the Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose has been delighting the young and the young at heart. Marilee Jennings is the executive director. She joins us now to talk about this milestone. Congratulations.
Thank you, Janice. It's wonderful to be here.
Oh, it's great to see you here, and it's such a wonderful place. There's some people who haven't had the pleasure of going to the Children's Discovery Museum. We'll have some photos that we'll show as well, but let's talk about the history. How did it all begin?
Well, you know, more than 25 years ago, two moms, Santa Clara County moms, realized there wasn't much to do with their 5-6-year-old children. And one of them knew about the Boston Children's Museum, and of course, in the kind of Silicon Valley startup way, said, why can't we have one of those here in San Jose?
Yes, and then you had great benefactors who helped make it possible, like Steve Wozniak.
Exactly. So you always need someone to jumpstart to really back your vision. And so Steve Wozniak made the first big gift, a gift of Apple computer stock that totaled about $800,000. He subsequently gave more stock over the years that really made him the largest benefactor to our museum, which is why our address is 180 Woz Way.
It's perfect.
Right.
That way. And you have, during the summer, you have special programs as well. So which programs do you offer?
You know, surprisingly, beyond what we offer for very young kids, we also have programs for young adolescents. We have a summer camp called Summer of Service, where young adolescents do community service work.
That's wonderful. You know, I'm wondering, over the 25 years, there's always that innocence, and you have the storytelling, but what have you seen change in terms of children, especially in this digital age, when they come to the museum?
That's such an important question. I think the most important thing is that today's young parents actually grew up with the museum. And so they're a different group than the parents 20 years ago. And so we've really had to focus on figuring out what's relevant to today's children. What are the parents going to really respond to so that they make the decision to visit? And then what will be what's relevant for today's kids?
What do you find?
You know, I think that as much as we've gone digital in our everyday life, parents and kids want hands-on.
Experience. They want that
they
experience.
Do. They want real water, balls to play with, air that, does fascinating things. So the low tech has a role.
Oh, that's wonderful, because that's the thing we always talk about, is people are so focused this way that they don't interact this way, but they are having the experiences really makes a difference. I know I had an opportunity to come and read stories to the children, which is so much fun, and that's one of the magical times too. You do special events with that.
We do, and I think story reading is a really great opportunity. We also do the interactive theater performances, where kids, many times, their very first experience with live theater, and the ability to join professional actors right on the stage.
Right, that's such a thrill. So what ages are the activities geared toward?
The museums, we call it our sweet spot, our ages 2 to 8, but of course we serve really from birth up into the adolescent years.
Yes. During the downturn in the economy, how were you affected?
I think we struggled like everyone else to, meet the contributed income goals. I think that we were very fortunate in that we were able to kind of survive the downturn.
Yes.
We I think are very beloved in this community. And,
yes, you are,
and
truly.
People responded when we asked for help.
Yes. I know you're from the Midwest, but what drew you to Silicon Valley? We talk about putting your signature on the valley. You certainly have done that, and in particular to the Children's Discovery Museum.
When I first heard about the museum, I was actually on a career path in banking, but I had an infant son, and I was so drawn to the museum because of this idea of hands-on learning outside of school. And then I realized, as long as I was going to be a working mom, couldn't I be a working mom where my son would be really proud of what I did?
Oh, and I know he was, and I'm
Yeah.
sure he still is to this day. Although
Yeah.
he's all grown up
He
over
is.
the years.
He definitely is.
Yes, it's really wonderful to see the experiences that children can have. And when they come back years later, what do you remember them telling you about how it impacted them?
You know, I think there are so many stories, and people from the community were using social media to tell us their 25th anniversary story.
Right.
And I think the common theme is that they so much want for their children what they had in the museum. So they want us to keep the fire engine.
Yeah.
They don't want
Yes, the
they
fire
want their
engine's great.
kids to make a corn husk doll, but they also want the kind of innovative learning opportunities that make us so special.
Right. Well, you truly are special, and we encourage everyone to come visit. I know that for people who might be concerned about the cost.
Yes.
How do you make it affordable?
We have an open door policy, and so that means we ask you to pay what you can. If that's nothing, that's fine too. So you simply walk in to the door, say to the admission staff, "I'd like to use the open door policy," and they'll say, "Welcome."
That is wonderful. And in terms of continued funding and benefactors, any new ones who've stepped forward?
Well,
in
you know,
support?
I think that everybody has the opportunity to leave their signature on Children's Discovery Museum. And in honor of our 25th anniversary, we've recently unveiled a vision to do a major outdoor expansion. And we're calling it Bill's Backyard. And to help us get all the funds we need, you can buy one of the fence posts for
Nice.
$250 and have your family name engraved on it.
Wow, that is a great new tradition to start. How fun.
Yes, I think it's going to be great.
Oh, it is. Well, Marilee, it's wonderful to see you again. It's been too long, but I'm so glad we had this opportunity to chat. Thank you for what you're doing for our Valley and just really engaging children and, as I said, the young at heart as well, because we all love the Children's Discovery Museum. If you haven't visited recently, here's how to do so. If you're thinking about that fence post with your name on it, details are on our screen. And that's our show. I'm Janice Edwards. Thank you for putting your signature on Silicon Valley, and we invite you to join us next time. We look forward to seeing you then.